My name is Sakshi Malloi. I would like to enhance your knowledge by providing information related to the basic concept of OOPS. So, here we go. Now we will discuss about the topics objects, classes, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, overloading, polymorphism, and binding. So we will start with objects. Objects are the basic runtime entities in object-oriented system. An object is an entity that has a state, behavior, and identity. There are many objects around us. Example, a computer mouse is an object. It is considered an object with state and behavior. Its state would be its color, size, and brand name, and its behavior would be left click and right click. Classes. Basically, classes is a user-defined data type which binds the data and its member in a single package. Or we can say that it is a blueprint that describes the behaviors or state for an object. For example, mango, apple and orange are the members of class fruit. Data abstraction. Data abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details. That is, showing only the essential features of the application and hiding the details. For example, consider a real-life example of a man driving a car. The man only knows pressing the accelerator will increase the speed of the car or applying a brakes will stop the car. But he does not know about how on pressing accelerator the speed is actually increasing. He does not know about the inner mechanism of the car or the implementation of accelerator, brakes, etc. in the car. This is what abstraction is. Encapsulation. The process of binding data members and function in a class is known as encapsulation. Encapsulation is the power feature or concept of object-oriented programming. With the help of these concepts, data is not accessible to the outside world and only those functions which are declared in the class can access it. For example, consider a real-life example of encapsulation in a company. There are different sections like the account section, finance section, sales section, etc. Now the question arises, how data abstraction and data encapsulation differ from each other. Let us take example of a mobile phone. The external layout of a mobile phone includes display screen and keypad buttons to dial numbers. The outer layout of design is called abstraction. The inner implementation of a mobile phone includes how display screen and keypad buttons are connected to each other. The inner layout implementation is refers to an encapsulation. Inheritance. Inheritance is a process by which objects of new class acquires the properties of object of existing base class. It is an hierarchical order. The concept of inheritance provides the idea of reusability. This means that we can add additional features to an existing class without modifying it. For example, dog, cat, cow can be derived class of. Now we will discuss about the types of inheritance. First one is single inheritance. Here we can see that the child class is derived from parent class. So, the parent class is a base class, child class is a derived class. That simply means that there will be only one base class and one derived class. Second is multiple inheritance. Base 1 and base 2. These two are base classes and the third one is derived class which is created from the two base classes. This means there will be one derived class and more than one base classes. Multi-level inheritance. One derived class is inherited from other derived class. For example, we see that Derived class 1 is created from base class and derived class 2 is created from derived class 1. So there is a base class and derived class 1, there is a first level inheritance, and between derived class 1 and derived class 2 there is a second level inheritance. Now hierarchical inheritance. More than one derived class is created from a single base class. Here we can see that there is one base class and derived class 1, derived class 2, derived class 3. These three derived class are created from a single base class. Hybrid inheritance. Here we see that class Q is derived from class P. Class S is derived from class Q. And class R is derived from class S. So, when more than one type of inheritance are implemented together, it is called a hybrid inheritance, or it is also called virtual inheritance. Overloading. Object-oriented programming also provide a facility to extend the meaning of available functions and operators. Assigning an extra meaning to an existing operator or a function is known as overloading. For example, consider the addition plus operator. When applied on two numbers, it will produce the sum. On the other hand, if we apply it on two strings, it will consent them to produce a third string. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is an important object-oriented programming concept. This is a Greek term, means the ability to take more than one form. The process of making an operator to show different behaviors in different instances is known as operator overloading. Using a single function name to perform type of task is known as function overloading. For example, suppose we have to write a function to add some integers. Sometimes there are two integers, sometimes there are three integers. We can write the addition method with the same name having different parameters. The concerned method will be according to the parameter. Now we see that int main we are taking sum1 and sum2. In sum1 we have passed two parameters 20, 30. In sum2 we have passed three parameters 20, 30, 40. Sum1 returns a plus b, that means the sum of 20 plus 30. Sum2 returns a plus b plus c, that means the sum of 20 plus 30 plus 40. Binding. Binding refers to the linking of a procedure call to the code to be executed in response to the call. In object-oriented programming, binding is of two types. Static binding. Linking of a function call to its body at the compile time is known as static binding. It is also known as early binding. It can be achieved through function overloading and operator overloading. Dynamic binding. Linking of a function call to its body during runtime is known as dynamic binding. It is also known as late binding. It can be achieved through function overriding. So, this is all about the basic concept of OOPS. Thank you.